Welcome back. During my last video, I was talking about how good training makes it so much easier to do things, including soaking your horse. And I said during that video that I wasn't going to go into what I was soaking her in or why I was soaking her, but I will talk a little bit about it because somebody actually did post a question on that video uh, asking about that, wanting to know a little bit more about soaking, what you use, and that sort of thing. Well, first off, it all depends on why you're soaking. I should back up a little bit and say this is not my area of expertise at all. This is more like veterinary medicine type stuff. And it's not a horribly common thing, but it is not uncommon either. It's not something people are going to be doing every day on a regular basis, usually only when you run into health issues. And soaking can be used for treating the hooves for a number of various issues, depending on soreness, trying to bring out abscesses, sole bruising, treating thrush, a lot of things like that, where it actually is beneficial to the horse to immerse its foot in some kind of a solution for a period of time. Now, exactly what you use for a solution varies dramatically depending on what you're treating the horse for. Now, in many cases, if you're just trying to get the hoof cleaned up so you can do something else, or if you're trying to bring out an abscess, a sole bruise, various things like that, a soak in a mixture of Epsom salts and ordinary warm water. Nothing fancy, nothing special, although Epsom salts are getting a little pricey these days, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to some medications you might have to buy for your horse, pretty cheap stuff. $10 worth of Epsom salts will probably keep you soaking your horse for a few months. Now, again, depending on what you're using it for example, if you were treating thrush, we have a bottle right here of apple cider vinegar mixed 50-50 with water is a good soak for treating thrush. The acidic acid in it destroys the bacteria and or fungi that may be present causing the thrush. One of many things. I do have some Epsom salts down here too. These ones happen. You can get them in a bag or they come in a bottle like jug like this. That sort of thing. Like I said, a quantity like this, a couple kilograms, around $10, and somewhere in that range. And it has a lot of benefits. There are other things that you can buy for treatment of different ailments, and some of them you can buy at the equine stores. Specifically for treating certain conditions. Some of those products are actually rather expensive, and as a result, don't get used as much as they should because most people want to cheap out and not cost themselves any more than they have to, which is why we resort to the cheaper things like the apple cider vinegar, other solutions that have been used, although I'd be a little hesitant to because they can be a little bit harsh, is things like a diluted peroxide, some bleached water. Again, be careful with some of these things because they can actually do more damage to the good tissues than they do to the bad tissues you're trying to destroy. So you have to be very careful what you're using. But those are just a few of the reasons for soaking, and depending on the time of year, water temperature will vary. Right now it's winter here, and actually it's not too bad. It's not as bad today. Yesterday it was about minus 24, I believe. So you want the water pretty warm. Not so warm that it's going to be uncomfortable for the horse to put its foot in, but keeping in mind that after standing in there for 20 minutes, half an hour, that water is going to cool down. So you want it warm enough that it's not going to be uncomfortably cold either for the horse to have its foot in for a duration of time. So during the colder months, you're going to want the water warmer. During the hot summer months, you might not even have to warm it up at all. Whatever the temperature comes out of your tap at might be sufficient. Again, it depends on the temperature the water comes out of your tap at and the time of year. But soaking and what you soak in, like I said, there's a lot of variations in what you use. There are going to actually be quite a few different things you can use even for one ailment. And what you're going to use may depend on the ailment. And again, like I said, there are several different reasons for soaking. And, that was a question that came up after my last video. I wasn't going to elaborate on that one as to what I was doing and why I was doing it and what I was using. But I just thought I'd talk about the subject because somebody actually asked the question and said, hey, I'm kind of new to horses here. I don't know much about this stuff. I'd like to learn a little bit. And like I said, this is veterinary medicine type stuff, so it's not my area of expertise. I'm not going to elaborate a great deal on it, except to say that, it is something you will occasionally come across and you might even have to do yourself. So what's soaking? Why do you soak? What's in that solution? Like I said, there's a lot of variables there, but we covered a few of them and some of the more common ones. And, for treatment of things like thrush, there's actually quite a few over-the-counter products that you can buy. And, again, they're quite pricey, somewhere in the neighborhood, I think $75 or something like that for some of them. Whereas, a bottle of, this apple cider vinegar, this is just a small one, unfortunately. I couldn't get the store I went to. They didn't have the bigger ones. I would have liked to have gotten gallon jugs because I'm sure that would have been even cheaper yet. But even this was only, I don't even remember, $4 or $5. It's a little more expensive than your regular vinegar. I'm not sure what the difference actually is between your normal white vinegar and the apple cider vinegar. They both contain acetic acid in them, which is the agent that is actually actively killing off the fungus and or bacteria that you're trying to fight. So, those are things you can consult with your vet on. They might know better, have a little bit better idea. But if they don't have answers for you, don't give them a hard time because, they got to know an awful lot of stuff. And, quite frankly, they can't always know everything. So, be patient with them. But that's just a general idea of, why you would soak and some of the things that you'd use for soaking. So hope that helps. And I actually hope you don't ever have to do it. So have a good day and go play with your ponies.